let's see how we can increase chances of getting twins. Now, one thing you have to understand is family history or genetics play a very important role. If you have a family history of getting twins, you have a high chance of getting them. This does not guarantee you that you're going to have them, but you have a higher chance. But now, I want us to see how we can be able to take the matters into our own hand and see if we can increase the chances of getting the twins. One thing you have to understand is we have several types of twins, and before you get to the types, Nigerian women have the highest chances of getting twins in the world, while Japanese women have the lowest chances of getting twins. Anyway, we have two types of twins. We have the first one, which is identical. This is where you have only one ova, that's one egg, fertilized, and then it is split into two, and then it grows into two individuals who are totally different, separate, that is, but they are very identical. Even genetically, they are very close to each other. Now, we have two types of twins. We have the first one, which is you get one egg, they are called identical twins. You get one egg and it was fertilized, and then it is split into two, and the two developed into two different individuals who are kind of mirroring each other, meaning that if this was a female, they are both going to be a female, or they are both going to be males, and they are very identical. Physical features look almost exactly the same, unless maybe they were bred in different environment or environmental features that made them to have slight changes, but genetically they are almost mirroring each other. Now we have the second type. Okay, we have several in this category. They are called fraternal twins. They are non-identical, meaning that they are not like each other, they are not mirroring each other. You might find that either they are both males that don't actually look like each other, they are not resembling each other. They might be female, the same case, or a male and a female, and they are totally different. This means that we had two ova, those were two eggs which were fertilized at the same time, which means that they were released at the same time. So during ovulation, two eggs were released, and we are going to come to this later. And after being released, they were fertilized, and they were fertilized by independent sperms. And that's why they are different, because sperms are usually different from each other. They are totally different. They have different genetical makeup, so they are not going to be like identical twins. Now, it's usually very hard to make identical twins. So we are going to focus on the fraternal twins. Those are the ones which are non-identical, and I'm sure you can now see where we are headed. Now, the first method, this is using the IVF. This is in vitro fertilization. It means that you're going to get the sperms from the man. We get the sperms outside that man, and then we incubate them. We keep them alive, and then we go to the female. We get the eggs, as many as we can. Like for example, we get like 5 of them or even 10 that are mature, and then we fertilize them outside the body in a petri dish or somewhere. So long as the temperatures are okay, we incubate them to enhance fertilization outside the body. Now, remember here we have how many? Let's say we took like 5. Or, okay, in this case, we're going to focus on only 2 because we are planning to only have twins containing 2 individuals. Now, what will happen here will be those eggs will be fertilized, and then implantation. This is where now physically the eggs which were fertilized outside the body are now taken back to the uterus for implantation and growth. Now that's the first person we have implanted there. Then we pick another egg and we go implant it there, or even 3 to increase the chances of having those twins. In this case, like you have noted, we can be able to create as many individuals inside there as possible, but now we are interested in 2, because if you get more, we are increasing the chances of having risky pregnancy. So 2 are good. So to increase the chances, we just implant 3 so that at least maybe if they are successful, it's okay. If 2 of them succeeds, yeah, you are going to have twins. Now that's through IVF. Now the second method is using fertility drugs. So you're going to find that we are going to give you drugs that will induce you into producing more eggs that will be fertilized later on to create twins. Now in this one, it's less invasive compared to the first one for IVF, in vitro fertilization, where you'll have to remove the eggs, you'll have to remove the sperms, and then you fertilize them, and then you have to take them back. In this case, you're going to use gonadotropins. These are the drugs that are used to treat infertility. These are prescription drugs, especially one of the ones that I'm going to mention. So in this, you can only get it in your pharmacies or in your chemists or in the shop that you're going to buy the drugs using a prescription. So you'll have to talk to your doctor so that you identify the risks and get to see whether the benefits will outweigh the risks. Now, we have several drugs that you can use here. Now, the method that they usually employ here is, okay, these drugs are called gonadotropins. They contain hormones. Now, the first hormone is FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone. Now, this hormone will trigger maturation of the eggs in the ovaries, meaning that by the time you're getting now luteinizing hormone, which is now another constituent of this drug, it might have FSH or not. So we have follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, which will trigger ovulation. Now, after FSH completes the work, which is now maturation of the egg, luteinizing hormone will take over by triggering ovulation. Now, your body will produce these hormones naturally. This is where you get the cycle. You get FSH, which will trigger maturation, and then you have LH, which is luteinizing hormone. Then you get that ovulation, and after ovulation, if you get pregnant, then you're going to produce a hormone called progesterone, which will support the pregnancy and make sure that this pregnancy is not terminated. And then, if there was no fertilization which took place, it means that now there's nothing that's supposed to be done. Now we have something we call estrogen. Now this will help in demolishing everything that was created to support the baby, meaning the uterine wall will be demolished, and this is where now you get the menses. Now let's go back to our hormones. We have two. All the hormones that we have said are produced by the body. But if you inject someone using the FSH and LH, you're going to introduce that hormone into the body, and it will trigger maturation of more than one eggs. And in this case, you're going to have multiple eggs maturing at the same time. So by the time luteinizing hormone is coming into play to trigger this ovulation, you're going to have several eggs that then, in case you so meet your partner, you're going to have all of those eggs being fertilized at the same time, meaning you're going to have those non-identical twins, and you're going to have several of them at the same time. Now, it's good to note that in case you want to increase the chances using the drugs, you only have 30% chances of getting the twins, which is very high, compared to if you just sit down and wait for the genetics to play the part, which might be that you'll never get that, because if in case in your family you don't have that, the family history, in your genetics you don't have that, it means that chances are very low that you're going to get. But using the drugs, you increase the chances by around 30%. Anyway, we have several other more factors which are kind of easy, and we have studies. Okay, the information is kind of scanty, but we have some explanation. Let's see some of the other things that can increase chances of you getting twins. Now, the first one is age. Those women who are around 30 and above, and they are fertile, they have higher chances of getting twins compared to those who are younger than 30. This is because those who are 30 to 40 years, around that gap, they have a higher chance of producing more than one egg. I don't know the reason here. Maybe speculation is maybe the body is trying to get rid of as many eggs as possible before you get to menopause. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. This is just my tiny brains just thinking. So they have a higher chance of getting twins compared to those who are younger than 30 years. Tall women and those who are overweight, they also have a higher chance of getting twins. I don't know by what percentage, but the studies here are very scanty, so we have no idea, or we don't have as much information, but there's a higher correlation between the two factors I've mentioned to getting twins. There is also an increased chance of getting twins when you're breastfeeding. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I just see where you have very, very few studies supporting this. So I'm not sure whether this is conclusive enough. So I'm just giving it out there. I'm not 100% sure that this is a contributing factor. But we have seen several trends when it comes to those ladies who are getting pregnant. When they're still breastfeeding, they have a higher chance of getting the twins. Anyway, what I discussed in this video is just for educational purposes only, and it only increases your chances. So there's no 100% sure way of getting those twins. This is just increasing the chances of you getting those twins. You might get that or not. So in case you don't get them, accept the outcome. See you in the next video.